Hi guys, I'm so excited that you're here, and in this class I'll be teaching you how you can calculate the prices of your cake. I use an Excel format like you can see for calculating the prices of my cakes, and it works along with the recipe that I use to make my cakes. So with this format and with this table that I have, it's exactly the recipe that I have, and that is what I use to get the price of each of my cakes. So for you, you can input your own sizes or quantity of recipe you use for your cakes and then get the price of each cake, or get the cost each cake costs you to make. At the end of the day, depending on the percentage of margin that you want to add to your cakes, you can now add that percentage of margin and be able to know how much you should sell a particular cake to make a decent profit. Here I have on ice cakes because we sell different kinds of cake. We sell buttercream cakes, we sell on ice cakes, we sell fondant cakes. So at the bottom here, you see my fondant cakes here, you see my buttercream cakes here, and you see my on ice cake. Here I have the cost of the on ice cake, the cost of buttercream cakes, and the cost of fondant cake. Let me quickly put cost here. Cost of fondant cakes. So let me explain this table to you so that you can understand. On this line, on this row, I have the sizes of cakes. So we have 6 inches here, 7 inches, 8 inches, 9 inches, 10 inches, 11 inches, 12 inches, 13 inches, 14, 15, 16, and character cakes. Character cakes are no longer as popular as they used to be, but I'm still going to leave it just in case you do character cakes. So the next row now is the labeling of what I'm going to be doing at the bottom. So here I have cost. That is how much do I buy the materials that I need to make each of these cakes. Here I have unit of measurement. The unit of measurement is, if you buy a box of butter now, how many kg is that box of butter? If you're buying a bottle of milk, how many liters is that bottle of milk? So that's why I have kg here. It's just the unit of measurement. So if I'm buying water, this kg is going to mean liters, but since it's going to do the same job, it doesn't matter. Here I have cost per kg, or cost per liter, or cost per bottle, as the case may be. So here I'm going to divide how much that I bought the materials for and what quantity is the material, to know the cost per unit of that material. So let me put it in layman's term. You buy butter in 10 kg buckets, like I have here. I buy my butter in 20 kg cartons, not 10 kg buckets now. So if you buy your butter in 20 kg cartons like I do, my butter cost me 15,000 naira to buy, which is what I inputted here. That 15,000 is for the whole 20 kg, which I have here. Then the cost per kg is this 15,000 divided by 20 kg. So it means that my butter cost me 750 naira per kg. I want you to know that all the prices here are just for examples. You can use the prices that you bought your own products. This column here has some calculations. If I click on it, you're going to see a calculation on this formula board. So once you input another amount of money here, it's automatically going to change the prices of the whole table. So let's look at it. I'm going to make this sugar column 5,000 naira, and you should watch out for how much would be on these other parts where we've used sugar. So here I'm going to make my sugar 5,000, and you can see how the prices changes. So what I've done is let me undo this. So what I've done is I have put in a formula in such a way that all I need to do is just change the prices of the materials that I buy. That is all. So once I change the prices of the material that I buy, the prices of the cost of my items, of my cakes, would automatically be calculated for me. So here I have butter, I have flour, I have eggs, and there are some small materials that you really cannot calculate, like your baking powder, your flavor, your preservative if you use preservative, your glycerol if you use glycerol. For all those ones, I've put them together and put them at the price of 2,000. I gave them a one weight so that we can calculate it all through. And of course, we know that there is a portion of your materials that goes into wastage, meaning that you won't be able to get everything, and there are still some things you wash off. So in these orders, that is where that is calculated. In these orders, that is accounted for. Overhead is the regular expenses you incur whether you make a sale or not, and you can determine that by how much you pay in rent, how much you pay in lighting per month, how much you pay for salaries, and whatever other overhead that you may have, telephone bills and what have you. So I've pegged mine at 2,000 so that I can incorporate that price in each and every of the cakes that I sell. So if I sell a cake as little as 6 inches, a portion of my overhead goes into the pricing of that cake, so that at the end of the year, I will be able to pay back my rent, and I'll be able to pay for all those expenses that I incur, even if I am not making any sales. So now I'm going to explain to you how this works. So for sugar now, this portion here, which has the cost kg, now from this point to this point has the quantity of the materials that I use. So for my 6 inches cakes, I use 200 grams. That's not up to a kg, so I've put 0.2 here. For my 7 inches, I use 300 grams. For my 8 inches, I use 400 grams. 9 inches uses 500. 10 inches, 650, 11 inches, and so on like that. If you have a different recipe you use for different items, that's you have your quantity for butter is different from your quantity for flour, and is different from your quantity for eggs, you need to do these calculations separately. But in my own case, I use the same quantity for all my ingredients. That's the major 4 ingredients, which are sugar, butter, flour, and eggs. So I've inputted the quantity required for all these materials, and remember, this portion is going to tell us how much is 1 kg of that material that you're using. So if my 6 inches is 200 grams, it means that I'm going to multiply 200 grams, that's 0.2, by 420 naira to get how much the sugar for 6 inches cake would cost me. The same thing goes for my butter as well. I've already inputted the calculation for all this on this Excel format such that everything will be calculated automatically. You'll notice that once I click them on this formula bar, you'll be able to see the formula. You see these colors you'll see are actually the cells that affect this particular other cell. So meaning that this 0.2 multiplied by this, that is what gives me this. And once I click on this, you can see it in the formula bar here, which says equals to D4, which is D here and 4 here, multiplied by this one, which is, what's the cell? E3. So that is how it works. The same thing applies to all the other cells that you can see here. For this one is the same thing. That's the quantity of flour that I use for 6 inches cake. And at the end of the day, I submitted everything, I summed it up for me to know how much each cake that is not decorated costs me. In this order also, I have the cost of packaging for my undecorated cakes, because I don't use boxes for my undecorated cakes. If you use boxes for your undecorated cake, you can come in here and add the prices of the boxes. So meaning that you have 6 inches box, it will cost you a certain amount. You just enter those prices across board. So at the bottom here, I have how much every on ice cake would cost me. So for my 6 inches, based on this calculation that I have here, it's going to cost me 1,225 naira, and 10 inches will cost me 3,980 naira. 16 inches will cost me 13,471 naira. Mind you, this is just the price for an undecorated cake. So when you have to do a decoration, you have to add the elements and the cost of the elements for decoration on your cake. So that's going to bring me down to buttercream. But before I go to buttercream, let's assume that I want to sell this on ice cakes, and I'm thinking, how much should the minimum amount of money I collect from my customer be so that I don't make a loss? Here I'm going to show you how I'm going to calculate that and put a percentage profit of about 30%. So if I put a percentage profit of 30%, that's 30 divided by 100. 30 divided by 100 is 0.3. So here I'm going to put my profit on ice cakes, and I'm going to put my price for on ice cakes. So what I'm going to do here now is I'll multiply all this cost that is related to my undecorated cake and get the profit element of 0.3, and then add that to the price, to the cost, add the profit to the cost here to get the minimum price I need to charge for my undecorated cake. And watch how I'm going to do that. So this cell is equals to this cell multiplied by 0.3. Once you press enter, you would see the price, the profit. That's the profit element. So that means if my profit is 0.3, for instance, which is 30%, what I'm making from my on ice 6 inches cake is just 367 naira. I hope you understand that. It's just 367 naira. That is the profit you're making if you set your profit at 30%. So I'm going to do the same thing for the other cell. Now I have inputted the formula for each cell, multiplying my cost of on ice cake, that is A, by 30%, which I want to be my margin, and I'm going to show you how to calculate the price. So the price is going to be A plus profit. That is what is going to be the price. So I'm just going to have this equals this plus this, and that is what your minimum price for each of your cakes should be. So here you can see what it looks like here. So you can see what it looks like, and you have to be careful with these formulas so that you don't alter any of them. So at this price now, this is the least price that I must give a customer when I am selling any size of this cake. So for my 6 inches, the on ice must not be less than 1,592, or else I'm going to be making a loss. So now if I want to increase my profit margin to like 50%, all I need to come here is all I need to do is come here and type 0.5, and you can see that it will automatically change all the prices, all the profits, and immediately you know how much each of your cakes should sell for. So now let's go to buttercream. For my buttercream cakes, I have the same method that I used for the on ice cake. I have my cost here, my kg here, my cost per kg, the sizes of my cakes, and the quantity of buttercream that covers each of those cakes. So to be safe, I use the same quantity as I used up here. So that's the same quantity with the quantity that I bake with. So that is 200 grams here, 300, 400, 500, 650, 800, and so on. So I have the ingredients that I use for buttercream listed on this column, and I have icing sugar, which cost me 11,000 per carton, and one carton has 20 kg inside. The cost per kg is 550 naira. My butter, I used to use Vega butter, but now I used another brand. My butter cost me 6,500, and one in the carton, it is 15 kg that I have there. The cost per kg is 433.333. I use colors to decorate my buttercream cakes. Of course, you have to color your butter, and we use disco to give it a shine. So I'll calculate the cost of the colors and disco to be 500, and I rated that at 1, and I have the cost as 500 per kg. Don't forget that you're still going to divide this 500 by the quantity that you're going to use for each size of your cake. So if you're saying 500 here, don't be alarmed. We are still going to multiply it by the quantity used for each size of cake. So on this 100, 150, 200 is actually the 200 grams of this whole 500 that we are using to cover the cake. And of course, I have the prices of my boxes and my boards. Here you might need to do quite some work, because once the prices of your boxes and your boards change, you need to come back here and input the new prices so that you're sure that you are getting the pricing back from the customers, and you're not the one bearing the increase in the price of your boxes and your boards. So now the B part, now here this column is showing you, or this row rather, is showing you the cost of the buttercream that you used in producing the buttercream part of your cake. Now we are going to add the on-iced cake to this buttercream. The cost of our ice cake at A here, you can see it. I'm bringing it down here to B, under this B, so that I can add it to the buttercream portion of that cake. So the cost of buttercream cakes is going to be A plus B. So let's do the same thing we did for on-ice cakes at the top here and calculate what the profit would be and what the minimum price should be. So let's set our profits at 50%, which is 0.5. And here I'm going to have, this will be equal to this multiplied by this. And once you hit enter, you would see the profit. So this also is going to be equal to this multiplied by this. That's the cost of buttercream cake, and once you hit enter, you're going to see the price. I'm going to do the remaining for the whole other sizes. And now I've entered the formula for the profit on buttercream cakes. Mind you, I added the price of the on-ice cakes plus the price of the buttercream portion to get this, and that is what I am basing my profit of 0.5% on, not just on the on-ice cake or on the buttercream portion. So now I'm going to get the minimum price that we can sell this cake for to make a profit of 50%. So this is going to be the profit plus the cost of making the cake. So I'm going to copy this all the way to the end so that I can know the price for each and every size. So for your 10 inches cake now, for instance, if you are doing a buttercream cake, if you are selling your cake below 9,898, you are making a loss. The minimum price, that's if you want to get this profit of 50%, is supposed to be 9,898 naira. For 6 inches, the minimum price you should sell is at 3,267. So that is how you can fix the prices for your cake, so that as you are selling that cake, you know how much profit you are making from selling that cake. So if you sold 10 6 inches cake in a particular week now, you know that you have made 1,089 naira multiplied by 10. I'm going to go on to fondant cake, so because it's the same process all through too. Here are the sizes of all the cakes that we sell. Here is the quantity of fondant that covers this cake. For my business, I have a particular chart that shows the quantity of fondant that covers every size of my cake, meaning that I eliminate wastage in my business to ensure that we make enough profit to float. So for 6 inches cakes, I just need 750 grams of fondant, and this gives me room for a little remaining fondant to cover my board and do some decoration. The same thing goes for 7 inches, 8 inches, 9 inches, and so on. So what are those ingredients that I use for fondant? I use icing sugar, colors, disco, luster, and other materials that I might not be able to calculate one by one. So for others, I've pegged my others, which include the gelatin that I use to make my fondant, the CMC that I use to make my fondant, and other small ingredients that I use to make my fondant at 2,000. And the cost per kg of this, I pegged it at 1 and made it 2,000. Don't forget that I still have the quantity of fondant that I used in making all these cakes here. So here I'm going to be multiplying the cost per kg by the quantity of fondant that I used in decorating this cake. So for 6 inches, you can see how much it cost me for icing sugar, 7 inches, 8 inches, 9 inches, and so on. For I've pegged my disco at 500, and I also use the same quantity to multiply it. So for the others, I pegged it at 2,000, and I used this same quantity also to multiply it. So for the others, I can decide to use this 0.2 and 0.3 that I used at the beginning here for baking the cake, meaning that I don't use up to 1 kg for the decoration of my fondant cake. So now I'm going to be adding the cost of the cake in A1, A here, and the cost of making the fondant in C here to make the total cost of each fondant cake that we make. Now the total cost for my fondant cake as per this calculation, you can see it here on this column. So let's say we are going to be adding 50% profit to the cost of our fondant to calculate how much should be the price at which we are going to sell this fondant cake. So it's still going to be the same thing, and it's going to have this one, that is the percentage of profit multiplied by the total cost, and you click enter, then you would get this amount. So I'm going to do the same thing for the remaining of the cells. Now I've added the percentage profit that I want for each and every size of this cake. So I'm going to calculate how much the price for each of the cakes will be. So the price is going to be equals to this profit plus the total cost of making both the fondant decoration and the cake. You click enter and you get your minimum cost for each size of the cake you make. So that is how I calculate the prices for my cake. For people that have issues pricing their cake, you'll be able to use this Excel format to make your pricing right, and never will you be selling any cake below your cost of production. Thank you for watching.